Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today is the 3rd of April 2021. If I can make the usual opening request for a favour, and that's if you would please subscribe to the channel, that would be excellent and appreciated. Right, today we'll look at a band from the good old New Wave of British Heavy Metal days that you might not be familiar with, and that band is called Force, or was called Force rather. They were from Birmingham, formed around 1985, and regarding the style of music, they were at the more melodic end of the new wave of British heavy metal style, I guess you could call it. They had a fairly short career, just a few years. Whilst they did build up a useful local following when gigging around. A recording deal would unfortunately elude them. They never quite managed to land a deal. But they did lay down some tracks in their manager's recording studio, and as far as I can recall, none of those sessions saw the light of day in any sort of public release. But now, somehow, those top people at Obscure NWOBHM Releases have unearthed some of those old studio recordings from back in the mid to late 1980s, and put them out on a limited edition CD run that's just got 500 copies and that's it. And it's really excellent that Obscure NWOBHM Releases keep finding these hidden gems such as Force from the old days. They've got quite a knack of doing it. And back to Force, whilst having distinctly melodic tendencies, Force did have a bit of a rocky edge to them as well. Generally, I'd describe it as a mixture of some very clean, cutting, chugging riffs, some nice, straightforward, clean, throbbing bass lines, some really excellent keyboard swells going on there, which big things up, and some really nice vocal work which pushes the big hooks and melodies. It's a really pleasurable listen. I'd say Force were not unlike bands such as Glasgow, China White, bit of early Magnum, and even in places now and again it reminds me of Uriah Heep around their Head First album, that kind of style as well. And perhaps the melodic leanings might have been complemented when they had former Montreux drummer Andy Harper in the lineup, and Montreux, if you find them, they were similar in style. Each of the 11 songs here are all enjoyable, generally chunky melodic rockers with a bit of understated heaviness. In particular, I Stand Alone and Love Is Blind are really nice, big, atmospheric songs. Words of Freedom is a favourite, more of those big chugging riffs, the bass line punching it along, and it builds to quite an atmospheric finish as the keyboard swells fill things out further. City Life's another cracker, keyboards to the fore, another chugging, cutting riff, big hook. It's quite like a similar period Magnum, I would say, City Life, and on and on it goes. It's a shame when you listen to stuff like this. It's a shame that it didn't work out for Force back in the latter half of the 1980s. Although continuing thanks to Obscure NWOBHM Releases for having such a knack of finding these hidden gems from back then and putting them out. As I've mentioned, City Life's a limited run of just 500 CDs. I bagged mine directly from Obscure NWOBHM Releases, and it only came out very recently. But as I type this, I'm saying it again, aren't I? Record this 3rd of April 2021. There are still copies available from the label's website, and also one of my other go-to places for stuff like this, which is Sonic Age Records. I've put links to both in the description underneath the video if you would like to go and see if any are available still, if you'd like a copy of your own, and also a link back to the blog post on the website if you'd like to check that out. Hope you do both, because it really is a nice listen, and so good to hear bands that were, to all intents and purposes, lost back then, but certainly had the talent to do things if circumstances had been different. So as I say, links to both the Obscure NWOBHM Releases website and Sonic Age Records if you want to see if any are left. Please do. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.